Okay, we're here with Andy Beshear at the Pre-Fancy Farm Bean Dinner. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. You feel the energy in every single room that we are in, and it's like nothing I've ever seen. People are excited. People are ready. We've already knocked 70,000 doors in just 3 weeks, and that's because of people power. The people of Kentucky are rising up. They're ready to get rid of this governor and to move forward with a Beshear-Coleman administration.
What are you seeing in East Kentucky?
Oh, we are seeing the energy really pick up. We've had large crowds just about everywhere we go, with Rocky Atkins jumping on board as strongly as he has. We see people that say we want to end this election before it even ends Eastern Kentucky and want to deliver a Beshear-Coleman victory.
Okay, what about West Kentucky?
Well, listen, my roots run deep in Western Kentucky. I'm the only candidate in this race with Western Kentucky roots, but wait, I'm the only candidate in this race with any Kentucky roots. So I've spent a lot of time out here growing up. We spent a lot of time in the primary, and we see a very strong grassroots movement. We opened our Paducah office yesterday. You couldn't even stand in it. We were spilling out into the street. We're seeing the type of energy where we are going to make sure that we pull out a win out here in the West.
So let's talk about a couple of issues. Governor Bevin is obviously making abortion a big issue. Or trying to. What is your response to that whenever somebody brings it up?
Well, first, let me say what he has been doing recently is irresponsible, and the violent language he is using is dangerous. Shame on him. A governor ought to be above that. But my response on that issue is that, yes, it's an important issue to many people. But what this race is ultimately about are those kitchen table issues that at the end of the day, you sit around worried because of your family. Those are public education, pensions, health care, and jobs. And those are those issues that I'm going to work on every single day as governor, and those are the areas that Matt Bevin is trying to pull us back.
So I assume, and that's dangerous to assume, but I assume that you are not in agreement with the pension bill that was just passed.
No.
So what would you do differently to work on our pensions?
Well, first, when I'm elected governor, we are going to go in our first session. We are going to fix that bill, which would try to kick people who work for the quasis out of the pension system. Those are public servants, and I strongly disagree with this governor and lieutenant governor who want to claim they're somehow private employees. They are amazing people working at health clinics, working at rape crisis centers. They are as much public servants as anybody else. What we've got to do is add new dedicated revenue to where we don't have to have people run to Frankfurt every 2 years worried that they're going to lose their pensions. We start with expanded gaming. It is more than time. We lose $550 million a year in revenue just off what people are betting in our surrounding states. Second, we move towards medicinal marijuana. That could add about $50 million, and opioids don't work. So we have to have an answer to chronic pain that doesn't fill people's medicine cabinets with strongly addictive medication. Third, no more tax incentives to companies to create cut-rate jobs. If you're going to create a great job you can raise a family on, a job of the future, then yes, we want to incentivize you, but no more for these jobs that only enrich an out-of-state CEO. And finally, we're going to close some tax loopholes like private jets. There is no sales tax in Kentucky on a private jet. I think if you can buy a private jet, you ought to pay that sales tax.
All right, so the other strategy that Governor Bevin is using is tying himself hand, feet, waist, and head to President Trump.
That's because he knows he can't win on his failed record. The governors used to only have 4 years. And this is a guy who can't talk about his record and won't talk about his records because it's a disaster. So he's going to grab onto whatever he can to not talk about Kentucky. Because here's what's happening. He's trying to tear down our system of public education. He has bullied our teachers. His expanded Medicaid waiver would kick 95,000 people off health care coverage for the first time. He's supporting AHP plans that would eliminate the necessary coverage for prescription drugs and chronic disease management. He's refusing to address how we're being gouged on insulin and others. The fact is, he doesn't have a record he can run on, so he's going to do anything else.
Okay, last question.
Yes.
You're standing on my porch.
Okay.
And you've got 1 minute to tell me why I should vote for you. Why should I vote for you?
Well, I'm Andy Beshear. I'm running to be your governor because our families are being left behind. I'm going to work every single day to make sure you have affordable health care and you can always buy that prescription medicine you need to survive. I'm going to fully fund every public school because your child is just as important to me as my child. We're going to make sure we create good jobs in your region and not just the 3 cities that Matt Bevin has invested in, and we are going to protect your pension because it's a promise. I keep my promises, and I'm going to work to be a good governor for everybody, not just people who agree with me and not just people in my party.
Thank you.